During this video, I'll be touching on the information we learned about in Chapter 15, Nutrition for Fitness and Athletics. I'll be touching on what we covered through lecture, PowerPoint, and the book, then also relating some of that information for my own benefit to improve my diet needs. The first thing I'll be touching on is the importance of diet for fitness and athletics. And that would be, it is essential for long-term athletic / exercise performance and contributes to the health and well-being of all individuals. But also, what you must remember is the best diet for one athlete may not be the best for another. Next, I will cover is the approximate daily caloric intake recommendations for adult athletes and non-athletes. The athletes would be approximately 3,000 calories for a 19 to 30-year-old person, preferably male in this case, and non-athletes would be approximately 2,400 calories, and that's also still a 19 to 30-year-old man. So relating that to me, I know while I'm in the off season and lifting, my intake is approximately 3,200 to 3,500 to maintain my weight. Now I'll touch on the ACSM recommendations for the percentages of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in a diet for athletes and non-athletes. So what those percentages look like for a typical person, non-athlete, would be 40 to 50% carbohydrates, 34% fat, and 16% coming from proteins. For an athlete, those percentages would look like 45 to 65% carbohydrates, 20 to 35% fat, and 10 to 35% protein. And again, that would be for the athlete in that case. So following that, I'll cover the importance of carbohydrate intake prior to, during, and after exercise. So before, the individual athletes differ in their reaction to pre-exercise ingestion of sugar. So how I can relate to that is me, I can only really eat small meals before I lift or do any type of workout just because I know my stomach and my personal well-being. So something like a banana and a granola bar and some water will do me the justice just fine to get me through that workout instead of a sugary drink of some sort. So for events lasting less than or equal to an hour, sport drinks that contain 6 to 8% of carbohydrates, and then for longer events, 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour divided into 15 to 20 minute intervals. So for me, being a pitcher, I want to keep my body fueled throughout a game, and what I like to do is mix Gatorade with water. So that's what I like to do, and then I don't have a big sugary drink all at once or something. I like to thin out those sports drinks preferably. So within 30 minutes of exercise, you try to get 1 to 1.5 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight at 2-hour intervals for up to the 6 hours after. So for me, that would be around 97 grams of carbohydrates after my workout or after a game. And that's pretty simple and pretty easy for me because after a game or after workout, I'm usually starving and I could eat and recover really well in that sense. So now the last thing I'll be touching on is relating this information back to my personal nutrition and my caloric intake. So during the start of the week on Monday, I kept track of what I was eating, and I was eating from a low of 3,000 calories to a high of 3,700 calories. And this was to maintain my body weight, because that's what I'm looking to do this off season, and maintain my weight instead of lose or gain. I would just prefer to maintain because I like where my body's at personally. So the day I broke down and found my percentages of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats was on Tuesday. And what that was like was a 3,200 calorie day with 45% being carbohydrates, and that's breaking down into 1,440 calories of that, and then 25% coming from protein, calculating to be 800 of my calories, and 30% coming from fat, with the remaining 960 calories to add up to my 3,200 calorie day. So what I found from this information and seeing what I've been eating these past few days is what I need to do to maintain my weight. So with that being said, if I stay on this track of eating my 3,200 calorie day or approximately above it, I should be able to maintain my weight throughout this off season and still maintain strength and power during the off season.